We're going to see how Tasktop enables testers in RQM to create defects in RQM and then have those defects synchronize over to developers, where developers can then work on them, fix the issue, update the status, and let the testers in RQM know that the defect is ready to be tested again. So let's take a look at the first part of that, which will be creating the defect in RQM. We are going to go into RQM here and create a new defect. So here's our defect form in RQM, and we'll say this is our sample defect for the demo video. And we are going to file this against our project. We're going to make it owned by this user, and we are going to make sure it gets into JiRA here. And we're going to send that over. So now we've got a new defect here in RQM. You should be able to see it in our list here. And there it is. We can also go ahead and attach it to a test case and get that traceability information into JiRA as well. So let's add it to a test case here. Add tested by test case. Actually, we're going to add related test case. And there's our test case, 31. And I'll just note this with test case. And we'll save that. Okay, so one other thing to notice, we have a JiRA developer status, and that's where we'll know what's going on with the JiRA developer. So let's go into JiRA now. And we've got a defect list here for our bugs from RQM. And we're going to go ahead and refresh that list. And we're going to see that, voila, there's our defect, demo 301. And you can see there's a link to a test case as well. So the developer can click on this if they want to go into RQM and actually look at that test case. So let's just assume the developer is done with their test case. We're fast forwarding here. They're going to close this issue. And then we're going to look over here back in the rational suite and refresh. Before we refresh, let's note that the developer status is not started. So we're going to go in here, refresh, and notice that the status is now ready for retest. So that's the basic workflow. That's going to cut down on a lot of double entry and allow the developers to get to work more quickly on the defects that the testers are finding. There are some advanced options too. For instance, we can synchronize comments and attachments between the two systems, which further helps reduce a lot of emails flying around and can make the process more efficient. So if I am the developer and I'm looking at here in JiRA, I can add a comment here and say, please send a screenshot when you are done testing. So this comment that I've entered here in JiRA will show up in RTC. Let's go ahead and refresh that, and we can see there's the comment down below. We can say, no problem, will do. And then you could maybe use a screenshot tool or attach a file or however you'd like to get that screenshot. Here we go. So we'll go ahead and attach that and save. So now when we go back to JiRA, we should see that we've got the screenshot and the comment response. And there's a screenshot and there's the comment response. So Tasktop really enables rich collaboration between the tester and developer and just makes for a more efficient daily workflow. Let's look quickly at how Tasktop is set up in the background. This is the Tasktop server here. You can see it's running locally in my browser. It's a Java application. It self-contained. It's about a 300 or so megabyte install file. Typically, people stand it up on a VM behind their firewall, or you can put it on AWS or Azure, any VM provider. You can see these are all the integrations we support, but we've got another view here where you can clearly see that we are synchronizing Rational to JiRA. And if we drill down, we can see really what fields we're dealing with. In the field flow view here, this makes it very clear what's going on between the two fields. It should be pointed out, Tasktop's not a point-to-point integration tool. It's a scalable tool that deals with models. So the center two columns are the it's Tasktop schema model, where we've defined a bunch of fields for defect, and then you map your IBM fields to the Tasktop model, and you map your JiRA fields to the Tasktop model. In this way, you can reuse these mappings in other integrations and not have to do a lot of repetitive work to set up new integrations. The repository connection is very simple and straightforward. You just provide a URL or a password, and that's all we need to connect to the repository. And then at that point we're talking to the REST APIs. There's nothing under the covers. We're not writing to any databases clandestinely. Everything goes through those REST APIs. These are the collections. So this is where you go through the process of mapping those artifact fields. So you've got on the left-hand side, you've got your IBM fields, and on the right-hand side, you have our model fields. And the models are set up here. They're very flexible. You can add a new model. You can edit the models that we ship with. So it's pretty straightforward. We find that most of the work is really brainstorming with your two teams and figuring out what fields you want. Once you've decided really what you specifically want to synchronize, setting up the software is fairly anticlimactic. That's all for now. Happy to get on a call and answer some live questions or otherwise support you as you guys are figuring out your integration needs. Thank you.